Welcome to 180 U-Turn, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road event that completely changed their lives around. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today I'm broadcasting live from Alongside Ministries in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the premier transitional facilities for former felons for drug and alcohol abuse. For more information on their prison outreach, weekly meetings, and special events, just hop out to their website and check it out at alongsideministries.com, and that's alongside-ministries.com. You need that dash in there or you're not going to get on their website. And if you want to write me at my show's address, please feel free to do so. It's steve@180uturn.com. That's steve at 180youturn.com. Today we're continuing our story with Vanessa Morales. And welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have it. And again, our first episode was somewhat gentle and a great upbringing, but now we leave. You're sitting now in your own place, going to school, and you decide to try coke. I mean, I have people coming tell me I drank too much in high school. I smoked too much weed. No, as soon as we leave, we're going right to cocaine. And by the way, not a cheap drug for a teenager.
No.
So you're physiologically hung up on this now.
Yes.
Okay. And you've moved out, living on your own. You're still going to school at this time, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's hard to make ends meet when you have to pay all the bills that you normally wouldn't have had to pay if you'd have been at home.
Right.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And by the way, I wish I could live my life all over again. I'd have never done what I did, or maybe you too.
Agreed.
Okay. So you're about 19, and when you're sitting there, how much coke are you doing? I mean, that's a lot of outlay in cash.
It immediately went to a few day benders. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that I don't remember it ever being something that. It was a very short stint where I was doing it, a little bit, but it very quickly escalated to long benders.
Now, were the people you hang with also doing coke?
Yes.
So that doesn't help, right?
Correct.
You have the peer people playing with you.
And they were experienced with it. Mm-hmm. And so they were on the path of days at a time already. So it naturally took progression for me as well.
Now, this went on for a couple years, right?
Yes.
And then you hit rehab for the first time.
Yes.
Now, when I'm thinking about, usually by the time we're talking, people have problems. We're hitting rehab 25 years of age, 28 years of age. We're hitting rehab at 21.
Yes.
Right? What was that like? Did you go to an actual detox center or did you wind up in the hospital?
My family really started seeing the symptoms and really started seeing the signs. I acted really out of character very quickly. I wasn't showing up to family events. I was calling sick. Mm-hmm. I would disappear for days at a time. And I remember it was Thanksgiving weekend, and I was supposed to be at my aunt's house for Thanksgiving, and I was late, mm-hmm. and I showed up high, mm-hmm. and they all knew, and an intervention took place at that point in time, mm-hmm. where it's like, okay, we're making the calls, we're getting you into rehab, mm-hmm. and they fronted the bill for a really high-end rehab facility called Cottonwood, mm-hmm. and so that's where I went.
That's really high-end money.
Yes.
Now, were you okay going, or you were just placating?
I was hesitant, but I was really just wanting to get my family off my back. Mm-hmm. And I really felt like I was cornered into it. Mm-hmm. I know that for sure I was not ready by any means, mm-hmm. but I went, it was one of those things where I didn't have a choice. I was in trouble.
Any other drugs at this time besides coke?
Alcohol.
Okay. In your opinion, looking back, right, retrospectively, when you look back on this, you were 21, you went into rehab. When you came out, did you expect to stay straight?
Yes.
You did. So it had some effect on you.
Yeah, it did. It planted the seed.
Okay. All right. But you were in and out after that. How many stints did you have? You had relapses, several relapses, if I remember your story.
There's too many to count. There's some people that can say, oh, I only relapsed once or twice, mm-hmm. and then I got it. Mm-hmm. This has truly been a struggle for me for 13 years. Mm-hmm. This is a 13-year struggle where I would have bouts of recovery, and then it was always, I'd mm-hmm. wind up right back before I knew it. It would take mm-hmm. nothing. It was just, and no resistance. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that because look what happened. It was like all inhibitions were gone. I didn't care.
Okay, so but if you're doing this, would you say, if you had to say to yourself, now that you look back at it, because you've been sober for a long time now, if you look back at that time, Vanessa, would you say in your heart of hearts, hey, listen, I just didn't have the willpower, or I didn't have the motivation, or I had not had some kind of God event yet? That's, basic. Some people say that's what I need.
All of the above.
All of the above. I'll check in all the boxes. Okay.
All the above.
All right. Well, when you go through recovery several times, you lose such heart because you've already been through this so many times, and why is this time going to be different?
Yeah.
Why is detox? Why is rehab? It's not going to change anything. So you're almost giving up before you walk in the door.
Absolutely.
You got into a relationship with drugs with a guy that wasn't into drugs. Well, he was into steroids and bodybuilding,
yes.
But not dope as we know it.
No.
All right. So was that not that might have been a good thing, right?
It was a good thing to get me off those things for a while. But
how long were you off then?
5 years.
Okay, well, let me stop you there. That was better than any rehab facility you went through.
Yes, except there was still the drinking issue. It was like I kind of transferred. I wasn't drinking every day, but I was like a weekend warrior, and I was drinking to get drunk.
Do you think you were an alcoholic by then?
I don't think I was a full-blown alcoholic at that point.
Were you a functioning employee?
Yes.
Now, you were in the healthcare field at this time.
Yes.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Sometimes when you're in the healthcare facility, you have access to things that a lot of other people don't have access to.
You're absolutely correct about that. And it was tough being in that situation because yes, I was functioning, but don't get it confused. There was definitely, I could never just have one or two drinks and be okay. It was drink to get drunk, and even though I wasn't doing it every day, it was still inappropriate behavior. And
binging on the weekends.
Yes.
Right. And partying on the weekends as well with this.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not doing drugs, you're not doing coke for sure at this time, and you're living with a gym rat now.
Yes.
Right? This guy's into bodybuilding, he's into his physical physique, right?
Yes.
All this is in one side that sounds pretty positive. And it sounds like he had some influence on you.
Yes.
In regards to pharmaceuticals, right?
Yes.
But you broke up with him, and what was one of the key reasons, would you say?
Well, we got married, and there were some red flags that we ignored in our relationship. It ended up being really unhealthy. But, we did think that we had a healthy relationship for quite some time. We had the support of our family. We wanted to get married. We moved in together. We were trying to do the right thing. We were both working. So we both, we were living a life and a good one, and very close with our families. And we decided to get married. And I was, pretty straight and narrow at this point in time. I got pregnant with our daughter at 26. We were married. We had our first home. And still, there was something that was just always missing. I was still never 100% happy. But, once I was prescribed pain medication after my pregnancy, that's when the real problems happened. I always thought that I wouldn't like that stuff, that you just do that stuff and you take a nap and you get nauseous, and there's nothing great about that. I didn't see that as I was the cocaine user, so, but once I took those opiates.
Okay, whole nother scene. Yeah, what I'm thinking of, the old House MD show that was on television for years. He was a Vicodin addict. This is a physician.
Yes.
He was a Vicodin addict. He was doing 25, 30 hits a day.
Yes.
That's a lot. I have people that were on this show that told me they were doing 90 Vicodin, never awake.
Yeah.
They're just taking it just to pain. Now, at the beginning, let's just make sure everybody understands this. This was a pain prescription. You were in pain. You were, you had a baby. You were going through it. You just wanted to get out of the pain cycle. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Okay. But opioids are so attractive because once you get past the initial reason why you took it, there are another whole layer of reasons why you're going to keep it.
Yes.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. And this is why, if you're listening to this, you say, Steve, I just had to get on it. I hurt myself. I was in a car accident. I mean, I've heard it all. And I understand the original reasons, and they are legit. But if you stay on it, because they have secondary psychological profile issues, which can lead to physical, addiction, and opioids, especially when you don't feel so bad about it because they're legal.
Yes.
You kind of, in your head, you kind of write it off. Oh, that's not cool.
And my motives weren't to get high at first. It was to relieve pain. And it tricked me.
And it did the job.
It did the job and then some.
Okay, now, in your cocktail mix of Vicodin and Percocet, right?
Yes.
In your cocktail mix on this, did your doctor ever say, we better slow this down? Did he ever? I mean, is he just writing prescriptions for this and there's no stopping on it?
Actually, so I called in the prescription. They gave like a 30-day refill, and then they gave me one more after that. And then that was it. And that's when panic mode started stepping in. And once those were done, then, this is still very difficult for me to, come to terms with, because it's dishonest, and I really did cause a lot of wreckage with this, but I was writing prescriptions to myself from because I had access to prescriptions and medication and things like that. And
illegal pharmaceuticals now, and signing somebody else's name.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're at fraud. We're at a lot of places.
We're at a lot of places.
Yeah. And I just want to encourage you. I've never seen anybody who works in the health field who is skimming off the top or writing prescriptions or forging a physician's name. I've never met anybody in my experience of all the time I've been doing interviews and so forth that's ever got away with it.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing something in this realm, even if it's just plain fraud, or you're doing Discover Card, Visa, cheating people and so forth, it's very difficult to keep that lifestyle and to keep it going. Now, obviously, at least you're not writing prescriptions for other friends.
Correct.
You're not dealing. You're not a dealer yet,
right,
or anything like that. So when I'm thinking about this, so how long did this go on?
This went on for almost a year.
And no Coke at this time?
No Coke at this time.
Okay, so it's just drinking and these Percocet and Vicodin.
And even the drinking took a back seat. I was a mom, and so I wasn't going out to the club scene and doing all that. This was, full opioids for sure.
All right, well, but something crash and burn between you and your ex-husband, who was the gym rat.
Yes. So, he could see the abuse in drugs, and, he was a helper in hiding it. He didn't want to, go to my family with it. He wanted to protect me.
But he's not doing it.
No, he's not. Yeah. No, and there was one time where he had a dental procedure, and I took all of his pills and then left him in pain. And so that started creating issues. But the situation that really snowballed and really was the icing on the cake was when I went to go fill a prescription that I had forged. And it was the littlest mistake. It's always the littlest things that get you caught up. And it was the wrong date on the prescription that had them call the doctor's office and verify that it was not accurate. And then the pharmacist played along that he was filling my prescription and had called the authorities and had them come to arrest me.
And this is the first time you have a hassle with the law.
Yes. Well, I had some misdemeanor issues. I had a couple of DUIs, but this was the first felony, serious offense. Yes.
Now, so it's interesting. Now, did you divorce over this issue, or what would you say is the key reason that your marriage went?
I think that this was the final.
This one here.
He couldn't forgive me for having my daughter with us when I got busted. And it was him getting a call from the police saying, you need to come pick up your daughter or we're going to call CPS. And of course that scared him. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And it created, and then I went to jail that evening, and in Tucson. And that was shattering for him. That was.
How was it for you though?
It was like, oh no, you know, but it wasn't like I gotta stop. It was like, oh no, that's a hurdle. Now what?
Yeah. Now see, this is my point. I guess you come into this place. It's like your husband is now going to leave you. You screwed over the relationship with him and the child. To see, but you can see his side of this equation. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. And now I'm in jail, and I figured, and she finally woke up, and no.
This was just the beginning still.
So, and I just want to just say this on behalf of people who are listening. I am shocked at the number of testimonies and stories I've went through, and I'm thinking, well, that had to be the Armageddon moment. That had to be the Damascus Road event. You know, it never. Well, how long do we have to keep going to up this game before we're just, you know, completely confronted, you know, and we just have to fold before the Lord. Well, we'll get into that Thursday. Well, listen, I want to continue our story. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to continue it. And I'm so sorry to say, and Vanessa and I together, we're sorry to say that it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. But sometimes it has to get dark. And I've heard the rumor that it's darkest just before dawn.
Yes.
So if there's any reconciliation, maybe we can think about that. Listen, for more information, again, on Alongside Ministries, any of their weekly meetings, their prison outreach, or any of their special events, just hop out to their website at alongsideministries.com. And remember, it's alongside-ministries.com. So until next time, I'm Steve Savant. And remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No,
Amen.
not one.